I just want you people to look at this and observe something. Just look at this.
I hereby sentence the convict to life imprisonment for the said counts 1, 4, 5, and 6.
Anybody committing crime cannot go scot-free. I swear it. They cannot go scot-free. Anybody involved in any type of crime in the East cannot go free. And they're doing it because I'm in DSS. That's why if I said no idiot can try this country, and they know it very well. They know it very well. And I suspect that some people in government are complicit. They are making money with insecurity.
Now it pains my heart. It pains my heart really, on grounds that Nnamdi Kanu is irritated at injustice. Now this is something we cannot deny. He is appalled at the situation of this country. He is irritated at the level of corruption and injustice that is this country. Not even happening in this country. That is this country. But here is the mistake they keep making, just like very dark man. You see, when you're ignorant, when you're subscribed to an ignorant foundation or genealogy, it doesn't matter the extent of your exposure. It doesn't matter whether you've studied abroad or the UK. Your bias will still cloud your rationality. Bias will still cloud your rationality. It is only foundational ignorance that will make a man that has seen the four walls of Harvard University come back to still say, I subscribe to my ancestors. Whereas, when you review the activities of your ancestors from the proof of the present, you will see that even your ancestors are ashamed of themselves and want you to do better. Your ancestors will be ashamed of themselves and want you to do better. You just come back after your education and say, I'm fighting for my people. Which people? Which people? You see, I've always said this time after time after time. The worst mistake you would make is in fighting people that is in fighting for people that you should fight against. Nigerians or the Igbos or any tribe in Nigeria do not deserve to be fought for. Because you can't fight for people because you see something victimizing them. Whereas you should make an observation in actually finding out as to whether what is victimizing them is the consequences or are the consequences of their actions. You know, when I say these things, a lot of people sentimentally will come to my wall and be like, no. For example, in this Christian genocide that's been talking about, and a number of people are like, you see, a lot of people have, the same information on grounds that, Christians are being massacred in Nigeria. This is the Great Tribulation. And I'll ask you a very simple question. Where are those Christians in Nigeria? Are they Christians in Nigeria? Where have you seen Christians in Nigeria to talk about? You have to see Christians before you talk about the genocide. No. I'll tell you people a little story. I'll tell you people a little biblical story that a number of people never knew. Now, do you know the man called Barabbas who was arraigned alongside Christ? And the people were made to choose on who to grant liberation based on the governor's amnesty. And the people chose Barabbas instead of Christ. Now, a lot of people would be like, why would these people choose Barabbas? Whereas they have tasted the beauty and the loving nature of Christ. Now, let me tell you why they chose Barabbas. Barabbas was a freedom fighter. Barabbas, in the days when Romans colonized Jewish people, do you understand, was fighting for the Jewish people against Romans. Because, of course, in the colonization of Romans, they were effecting all manner of problems. They were subjugating Jewish people. But Barabbas and a number of zealots now stood and said, no, for anything that happens to Jewish people, we would offer our vengeance. So they stood out like the Moses of their time. They stood out like the Joshua of their time. And that was why even Judas Iscariot was a person of Barabbas. He was a disciple of Barabbas, who eventually went to see whether what was said about Christ is true. And when he saw the things that Christ can really do, he told Barabbas, we have found our liberator. They thought he was a liberator from the hands of Romans or their colonial masters, without knowing that Christ came to liberate them from their own self. See, let me tell you, when you are a problem to yourself, you make yourself vulnerable to any external attack. The problem is not the external attack, the problem is you. So when Christ came and told them, I'm not here to deliver you people. See, we've tried this long time, but each time we continue trying this and we liberate you people will fall into sin and other people will come and capture you. That's exactly what has been happening with Israelites. This time around, let us focus on the crux of the matter, on what had been resulting or what had been causing you people's, vulnerability. And that is your sin. This is exactly what I'm doing for Nigerians. Why would I fight the government like Nnamdi Kanu? Because of Biafrans, because of people. that what you're seeing happening to them is owed to the consequences of their actions, of their wickedness, of their subscription to Mammona, the god of money. People that sell their brothers. And see what Nnamdi Kanu is saying. He didn't even just hold on. Let me explain a number of things, please. This video will be long. See what he said there. Did you hear what he said there in that video? Did you hear? While he was busy fighting for the liberation of Biafra, what were these people doing? I guess he should have studied the people he's fighting for. You see, that is the problem. When you don't study the people and owing to sentimentality on the victimization that you see happening to them without knowing that such thing is not even victimization but the consequences of their wicked activities. Because God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that he will reap. And then you go with sentimentality to act the hero. You begin to contend with forces of nature. You begin to contend with karma. Do you understand? And these same people will stab you at the back with their activities. A man that has been in the custody for a very long time, suffering for his people, demanding for the right thing to be done for his people, showing irritation towards corruption, showing irritation and disgust, towards injustice and lack of equity. What were his people doing? What were they doing? They were busy through the elites of the same tribe he's fighting for, blackmailing him, purporting all manner of crime that would eventually be directly attributed to him. And these were count charges they made as to why they oh my God, as to why this man had been sent to life imprisonment. These were charges. And you heard him saying that all these things that the people, because he was in the DSS custody, all these things were happening. These were not his making. But the truth is that it was in his ignorance to fight for people that he should actually fight against that had given rise to this. If you understand what I mean. That is why I tell people, VDM, Nnamdi Kanu, Odumegwu Ojukwu and all this, you don't fight for the Igbos, you don't fight for Nigeria, you fight Nigerians and the Igbos. You fight them because their problem is themselves. You criticize them. You don't go and fight the government because it was their mentality that gave rise to this particular government that they deserve and are so fitting for. This government fits them. That's why you see Ghanaians coming to say, oh, on behalf of we're going to vote Tinubu, Tinubu is the most fitted. See, have you truly asked yourself why Nigeria has never recorded good presidency? In fact, the one that would have been good just died off like that. Who's Yar'Adua? Does it not tell you something? It's not the president, it's the people.